What if the greatest risk to your portfolio is not a crash, but a slow erosion that feels normal while it is happening? That is the tension we are dealing with right now. Not collapse, not apocalypse, but compounding. When investors hear the phrase global currency reset, they imagine a sudden event. History shows something different. Rome did not wake up one morning to worthless coins. The silver content was reduced gradually. Britain did not lose reserve dominance in a weekend. The pound slowly lost purchasing power after the 1940s. The Weimar mark and the Soviet ruble failed in different ways, but the mechanism was consistent. Fiscal strain rises, monetary flexibility increases, purchasing power drifts lower, and eventually the system transitions. Our strategy focuses on mechanism over narrative. The mechanism today begins with arithmetic. When debt service compounds faster than economic output, policy options narrow. Governments can raise taxes, cut spending, or rely more heavily on monetary accommodation. Historically, accommodation becomes the path of least resistance. That does not imply immediate failure. It implies sequencing. We currently assess the environment as late phase 1, that is, melt-up resilience with structural cracks beneath the surface. Equity indices can remain elevated even while real purchasing power compresses. Volatility can stay muted even as debt service expands. The system can appear stable while pressure builds in credit, funding, and long-duration yields. Based on the signal stack we monitor, we assign roughly 60% probability that this late phase 1 regime persists into mid-2026. That includes episodic drawdowns, but no disorderly break. We assign approximately 30% probability that phase 2 forced liquidity conditions begin emerging before the end of 2026, most likely triggered by credit strain rather than headline inflation. The remaining probability covers extension scenarios where growth stabilizes and fiscal pressure moderates temporarily. Before we go further, a brief note. This discussion is educational and observational. It reflects our probabilistic framework and is not financial advice. If this type of structured macro sequencing is useful to you, consider subscribing. Our goal is to help you track evolving phase pressure, understand what confirms a shift, and avoid reacting to noise. Subscribing simply ensures you stay aligned with the signal evolution as it unfolds. So, what would confirm that we are moving from erosion toward acceleration? First, sustained widening in credit spreads. Second, measurable funding stress in repo markets, or weaker treasury auction dynamics. Third, labor deterioration that moves beyond statistical noise into trend. And fourth, a structural rollover in long-term yields consistent with recession pricing, rather than temporary volatility. What would invalidate the reset narrative in the near term? Improving hiring rates, tightening credit spreads, and long yields compressing without renewed liquidity expansion. That combination would extend the melt-up rotation and delay the crash cascade probability. The key insight is that currency transitions rarely announce themselves. They compound quietly. Purchasing power declines gradually. Asset leadership rotates. The damage is cumulative, not cinematic. Our strategy remains probability-driven and sequencing-focused. Optionality matters more than conviction. The signal is not collapse. The signal is compounding.